Welcome to Crawl or No Crawl. This is Carolyn Holzman. Today is September 17th. Now, if Google means what they say, this is day 5 of the September Core update. During this video, I'm going to engage in a little disruptive narrative here shortly, so you might want to get the kids to another room, and I'll give you a few moments to do so. Now, today is an observation day of Operation Google Stakeout. I am trying a new code name for it because Google Indexation Research Project is not exactly a bouncy phrase. Accurate, yes. Catchy, no. So we are looking at the data log for the Operation Google Stakeout. Now this is where I log, like when new content is launched and the index request is made by the Google Indexing API, I track the bots to see if they crawl the new content. That's what these things are for: publish time, request time, and the first Googlebot visit. And then check to see how long it takes for this new content to go through the indexing system. As you know, if you're a regular watcher, I've spoken about the 3 systems that make up the indexation process. Now, the source of that information is Google itself. The engineers, Gary Ellis and John Mueller, but mostly Gary. So they have a crawl system, an index system, which is, I think, much more complicated. It's where our pages are converted into what they call protocol buffers, so Google can manage our content and judge it, and where, let's say, the post-crawl rendering is done. So you have to think JavaScript, and where I'm pretty sure that's where the keywords are assigned to the content. And then the serve system, that's when it is, we used to call that indexing, but Google calls it served. It's when content is findable by its keywords. Now, it is important for us as SEOs to have diagnostics for our sites and our content so that we're not making any technical issues that would prevent our content from getting crawled. But after that, it is all Google. And they skate off like they don't stink when the issue is clearly something is or has been causing delay or just nothing to move forward through their systems. So what do we have here? This is today's date, the 17th. New content was findable by its keyword. Now, it was Monday's test page. It was findable by the JavaScript test keyword. Now, looking at this, for any pages, let's say, that recently were published who had SEO optimizations contained within their JavaScript, some people might have seen a jump in recent days because there was a delay between publish and full render. You can see here that it was published on the 12th, 48 hours it took before it was findable by its simple keyword, and then another 2 days to go through the the rendering system before it went through the serving system. Now, yesterday we had a new bot, mobile bot number 14. So here's where my disruptive narrative is about to spring forth. Here's my thought. The arrival of Googlebot 14 signifies to me that the start of this core update was yesterday. Now, they said that we were due for a core update. And no matter what they say with their mouths, when you watch their feet, you can really see it. So I believe September 16th was the start of this core update based on the introduction of a new bot. Just like it signifies the end of an update, when they introduce a new variable into their testing, I think it signifies, in this case, the real start after they had previously unloaded all their previously processed data. That was here on this day, on the 13th, when the volatility tools all went up. They were pushing out things that they had been holding back that had been reprocessed. Now, I believe, based on the previous data, that starting now, Google will recrawl everything, all our pages, and then run our published content through the updated algorithm. Now, we've seen this before. Last fall, Google announced an update. High volatility ensued. Think of like last Tuesday. And then things calmed down. And then out of nowhere, more high volatility in a few days. And then afterwards, Google would say, oh, we just ran an update. but it felt like it was more like 2 in quick succession. Now, when that was happening, I wasn't watching the bots in the Chrome builds, but now I am. So here it comes, and I hope you're sitting down. I think yesterday was when the real core update was unleashed. So let's look at the bots. Is Carolyn right or is she not? Okay. Well, look at that. If you count all this out, now this is MobileBot 13, big jump in the number of crawls. Almost, well, like just ridiculous amounts of increase. Certainly noticeable, okay? So then when you look overall, see how it compares overall, I mean, that's a huge amount of increase over this past week, okay? So something is up. Now, I expect they're going to recrawl our content again, like I said, and then after it's all processed and QC'd, because they are going to test this new bot, Googlebot 14, against Googlebot 13. And what that typically looks like is we're going to start to see some rollbacks. Now, I define rollbacks as the experience of content that was previously findable by its keywords and served, to use the Google term, when those pages suddenly are no longer findable by their keywords, and then without warning or notice, they're back findable by their keywords. Now, this process, this experience, has a tendency to freak everybody out, and understandably so, if you're not watching their patterns. So freak out if you must, but the only logical approach is to wait, and I know it's hard, but to wait until the update is over. And if you watch this channel, I will tell you, because it will be when they introduce MobileBot 15. I promise you. These people are testers. There's no one doing more SEO testing than Google. And they know how to run them, and they're not going to mess it up by introducing a new factor into the mix before they stop the QC on the newly resorted index of our pages. And that's all happens on their side of the Search Console. Believe me. So, smart SEOs are not going to be messing with re-optimizing their content until they see, like if they see a drop, they're not going to be redoing their content. They're going to be waiting until it's over and then running their data reports. Now, by the way, I have said this before, I use Quora. And if you're doing SEO without Quora, in my opinion, you are flying blind. Forget about optimization scores from other softwares, because I'm going to phrase this in a graphic reference, because I was a print buyer for many years. And to me, Quora is like Adobe Illustrator. And other on-page software is more like Corel Draw. So now if I'm going to press, that means wetting, kitting, dry paper, I'm going to use the software that lets me see into my artwork files. Now, Quora lets you see into the full collection of search results for your term. I do have a link in the description if you want to catch it before the new version comes out of beta, because when that happens, the price is going to go up. But it does an amazing amount more than it did previously, and previously it was killer. So it's even more killer. So if you want to keep up with this, subscribe to get these latest reports. Check out the latest Confessions of an SEO podcast. New episodes launch Fridays at 8 a.m. And this past week, the show is called Telling the Bees. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. I'll try and update you tomorrow as well, but it won't be as long. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.